Good evening, everybody. We are here just live. We're just getting ready to do tonight's session. So hopefully you can all get to see me. We'll just hang fire. If you're here and you're watching us on one of the channels, just let us know where you're watching from, which platform you're on, which channel you're on. That would be awesome to let me know where you are and where you're calling from. Tonight we're talking about LinkedIn. We're going to talk to you and show you some of the strategies you can do to get clients on LinkedIn. That's what we're all on about tonight. So if you're watching here, we're going to dig in and really go for it and show you how to get results from LinkedIn. Please let me know. We're live on a few different channels tonight. So if you are on Facebook, say hi. If you're on YouTube, say hi. If you're on LinkedIn, say hi. You're all in different places. Hi, Noel. Somerset. I'm in Plymouth tonight. So we've got a very practical training session for you. We're going to show you why LinkedIn often goes wrong for people. Hi, Andy. Hi, Tom. Hi, Helena. Hi, Document Software. So it's quite a big session we've got to go through in a short space of time. I'm going to unpack some things first, and then we're going to go really tactical really quickly. Hi, Alan. Hi, Paul. Hi, Christian. Hi, James. Hi, Ariel. Hi, RM. Hi, Esther. Hi, Tom. So just as I'm getting everybody in, and hi, Karen, welcome everybody. Just as we're kind of doing this, we're going to do this in two halves. We're going to go strategy, then we're going to go tactics. Hi, Amal. Hi, Paulo. Strategy, then tactics. The strategy bit will help you get the right things done. And then the tactics is literally how to implement it. So it is kind of broken into two sections. So hi, John. Hi, Jonathan. Hi. Oh, somebody from Cardiff. Hi, Mark. So as we get into tonight's session, do feel free to ask questions in the chat. Do feel free to kind of hold them back for a little while, because we're going to go through it all. And at the end, I'll do live demos. So everybody gets to have play a part in tonight's session. Everybody gets to be involved. Everybody gets their questions answered. Let me just figure out my screen shifts here, because I'm having some fun. But we'll get there in 1 second. Bear with me. Why did it? There we go. There we go. So I've got a whole ton of slides to go through with you. Please do ask your questions in the chat. And we will literally go live. I'll put your questions up as we go. We'll have little breaks to go through things. Strategy first, tactics second. Strategy first, tactics second. So whilst you may be eager, show me how to do it, show me how to do it. If I don't explain it, you'll mess it up. I was going to say a swear word there, but I'm live on social channels and I'll get in trouble from my family and my wife if I swear on social media. So just a quick thing, just a quick intro, 2 minutes. Maverrik is on a mission to help 1 million businesses grow, revenue, margin, profit. We do this through free training. We do it through paid programs. We do it through courses, workshop, books, everything you can think of, we do. And we've helped about 150,000 businesses in various different scenarios. Paul, yes, if you join our Facebook group, if you're on Facebook, or you can find us on Facebook, you can join our community and you can actually get access to the training, because we go live in that group all the time with new stuff. So you can do that there. So that's us. That's a bit what we're about. And let me dig into the session and get going, because I want to respect your time and have you out of here bang on 8 o'clock. So in this session, we're going to look at why people absolutely bomb at LinkedIn, why they're messing it up. We're going to look at why people buy, what you're actually selling on LinkedIn, because I'll bet you any money what you're doing on LinkedIn is undermining what you're trying to sell. And I'll show you why. I'll show you the 4 cogs that make everything work. I'll show you the £1.5 million whale sale. And I'll show you the components that make that work, that you can apply not just to £1 million sale, but actually to a 500 quid sale, a £1,000 sale, a £10,000 sale, because the fundamentals are the same. Might be a bit more high touch for a big ticket like that, but actually the principles are the same. Then we'll do a Q&A session where you can ask anything. You can say, Dean, this is my name, this is the company, go look at my LinkedIn and tell me what I should improve. And we'll do it all live. This is live, bar a few seconds delay, it's live. Okay, so let's go. Just some, sales waffle, marketing waffle about us. Everything that I'm telling you here, I do myself. Everything I'm telling you, I've done and practiced. So I'm not making something up. This is real deal stuff. And if you look at our YouTube, our Facebook, our LinkedIn, our Google, you can see our Trustpilot, you can see there's a history there. So I'm not teaching you anything you don't know. By the way, I have terrible thin skin. So I hate cold calls, and all of this process that I'm going to teach you tonight. Obviously, we've only got an hour, so I'll give you as much as I can in an hour, but we'll get through everything I've talked about. And we will do the £1.5 million whale sale strategy and how to do it. I've had to do this because I'm terrified of cold calls. Can't stand the rejection. So that's why it's come from here. So hi, Freddie from Storyland Studios, welcome. So it's incredibly practical, but we'll get the strategy done first. So obviously there's tons of reviews. This is just so that you know that I'm not bullshitting you. Oh, I've done it already. So why do people fail at LinkedIn? Why do the people fail? Well, they lose their heads. People lose their heads when it comes to selling on social media. They go nuts. They do things totally wrong. They do things that feel weird, bluntly. And so you see all of these all the time on social media, all the time. Hi, buy my stuff. Hey, we've just connected. Oh, I'm just circling back. Or thanks for connecting. Can we do this? I'm looking to talk to you about that, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't work. No, actually, it does work. If you send 1,000 messages, you might get somebody bite. It's the wrong strategy. It's actually transactional selling. It's transactional. If you want to sell something for high value, don't do connect and pitch. Do not do connect and pitch. Why does it fail? Because you're building no awareness, no relationships, no belief. And you're basically saying, if you're interested, buy my stuff. It's not the right way to go about it. I could go along for hours telling you why it's not the right way, but suffice to say, it does not work. You see it, you ignore these messages in your inbox on LinkedIn every single day. It does not work. So what's the alternative? What's the other way? So let's have the reality check. I'll just stick this in and to turn the knife a little bit. I have utmost respect for some people who offer LinkedIn training. I have utmost respect for there's some people who do brilliant LinkedIn training. There are some who are just doing it to make money. They've never actually done it themselves. They've never actually done what they're telling you to do. I'm doing it. I can tell you because I do it. So if you want the consideration of potential clients, you need to grab and hold their attention. Automation is a massive risk. It can get you banned. And whilst there are places and times when you might think, and there might be spaces where automation works, in the sales process, it can actually make you look like an idiot. Or worse, you miss opportunities. The amount of times people have missed opportunities because they've used automation is unreal. I can show you, maybe we'll get to it tonight at the end if you want to hang on. I'll show you how I can get a conversation with anybody in real time if we've got time. So, and pursuing instant results, you know, that kind of eagerness, you get up in the morning, I've got to make a sale today. And that eagerness can sometimes make you do stupid things to get leads, really stupid things. Most lead gen has no targeting, no strategy, and gets no results. And I'm going to say this right now. You don't need a secret system. It's just a common sense system. People buy from people. This is dead simple. So I'm just on, I may seem like I'm dragging it out, but this is actually where everybody goes wrong. I'd love to just jump to the tactics, but you'd all go away and probably some of you would just go back to how can I adapt what Dean's just said, but actually do the crazy automation or the do this or do that or do the other. So we know the answer, but why do we do it the opposite way? And I'll tell you now, automation, all of that stuff, it has its benefits, but sometimes doing things faster or doing things to more people will not actually help you. I can show you how you can do this relationally with one person or 10 people. And in our paid program, we actually teach people how to get 10 clients in 30 days, but you don't need thousands to do it. Now, in the long run, you might need thousands of prospects so you can build a pipeline, but to get clients quickly, you actually need a handful of people and invest in a handful of people, and we'll show you. So the social selling alternative is relational, it's easy, it's natural, it's not pushy, it's really straightforward. If you're feeling uncomfortable doing it, you're probably doing the wrong thing. So selling on LinkedIn isn't hard if you do it right. You can build relationships, get conversations, and attract clients. Now, why am I saying this? I really want to emphasize this point. What are you selling? What are you selling? And the reason I'm saying this is because most people are going on LinkedIn and saying, do you want SEO? Do you want this? Do you need marketing? We can get you this, or, you know, all this stuff that they're throwing at you. But the problem is, for most businesses, for most of the 160 people watching across the channels here, for most of you, what you actually want is a conversation, two-way conversation with your prospect. Whether that be £1 million sale or a £10,000 sale or a £100 sale, what you probably want, the majority of B2B sales, is a conversation. And so when I'm talking to you here right now, I'm saying, what are you selling? You're not selling your product. Yeah. You're not selling your product or service on LinkedIn at all. What you are selling is the value of a conversation with you. Whether that be in messages, whether it be in Zoom, whether it be an email conversation, that's what you're selling. And so this may seem like, Dean, what are you saying here? You've got to convince people to give you the time of day. That's your product you're shifting on LinkedIn. So they go, this Dean guy seems to know something. This whoever you are watching tonight seems to know something. So you know something that they don't, that can help them achieve something or solve a problem. So they need to talk to you. That's what you're trying to do. Not what everybody else is doing. Hey, I do this, blah, 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 blah. We're wonderful. We're amazing. Do you want to call? Because that's what everybody's doing. It's madness. You've got to convince people of the value of a conversation. And if they don't know who you are, they don't trust you, they don't know you from Adam, they don't see any difference in you, they're not going to do it. And I'm going to show you some simple things you can do very briefly that will do that. And you can go and do this tomorrow. And I would encourage you to do this tomorrow. So that you can actually literally implement this. Yeah. So here's the commitment I'm going to make. Yeah. We're doing this free. Yes, I'm going to tell you about something later that you can join and pay for, but you can just take all of this and do it. My commitment is we're going to do it free, give you this training. What I want you to do is actually go do it. I mean, literally tomorrow, go and do this and watch what happens. Go and do it. Now, you might go and do it and go, oh, this is a bit frightening now. Suddenly I know I know enough to be dangerous. Come back and find us. And we'll help you implement this, structure it, make it easier, all of that stuff. But you can go do it. So here's the strategy that you need to go for LinkedIn. Dead simple. So what do people do is try and go for big scale, big everything, all of this stuff, which you can't sustain. You can't keep up with automation. You can't manage all of it. It's too much. So let's start really simple. Think like a resistance fighter, not like a general of a big, huge army. Think really straightforward. Think, take on a fight you can win. Don't play to other people's strengths. Really be like an insurgent doing this. So I'm going to show you one strategy, very, very simple. And it is this: one client, one problem, one message, one offer. Boil everything you've got down, and I'll tell you why. Who are you trying to target? You need to map that out. Yeah. What's the problem you can solve? Now, you might say, with loads of things, we could do this, we could do that, we could do the other. You don't have the mental energy, you don't have the time, and you don't have the ability to give attention to all the different products and services that you've got to offer. And so if people try and promote everything that they do, from this service, this service, this service, nobody really knows or gets the flavor of what you can do. And so you end up with a wishy-washy message, wishy-washy things, and no routine that you've built up. So this strategy, I'm challenging you to run with it for, say, 2 or 3 months, get the results, and then you can maybe move to a different product when you're a bit more confident with it, or maybe you just roll it out and do it more, or maybe different members of the team target different products and services. So you target one client with a very specific set of problems. What's the pressing pain points they've got that your product or your service, you know, they can solve? Then develop your message, not about how wonderful your product is, but about how you can help people go from pain, frustration, lots of problems that's being caused by this problem in their business that you can fix, and the outcome, and talk about that. Build your message around the pain and the outcome. One message, and then have one very clear offer or product, conversation, diagnostic service, whatever it is, that takes people onto that first rung. In other words, they make an inquiry about that. Once they've made that inquiry, you can expand that conversation and show them this or that or the other. But you need to have one clear offer, whether that be a discovery call, whether that be a strategy session, whether that be an actual service that you've got, a cheaper service or a £500 service or £1,000 service or whatever it is. But you need that clear entry point that they can come into your world and be become a client, become a customer. In other words, what you're doing is you're focusing really tightly on a specific group of people, specific problems, and a specific sales process you want to take them on to a specific product or service, so that you can land and expand the relationship. So you can cross-sell them this and cross-sell them that, but actually that's what you need to do. Where people go wrong is they're trying to offer all different things all at once, and it makes a mess of it. You know, LinkedIn looks a mess. It's confusing. People don't really get what you're trying to say. And it might take multiple contact times, multiple approaches, multiple posts and pieces of content for them to actually see and understand the value you can deliver. Well, you're absolutely right. It is about being human, and assume others are human too. Relationships. And I'm going to show you some very simple things you can do. But you can't just go scattergun and say, do you want this? 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 Because nobody gets to know who you are, what you're about, and the difference you can make. We categorize it into people need awareness of you, what you do, who you help, what the problems you can solve. Awareness. They just know you exist. Yeah. They see you. They might see your LinkedIn post. They're aware of you. Then there's belief. Yeah, nobody buys anything from anybody unless they believe that you can do what you say you can do, and you can do what you say you can do for them, and that they believe that whatever you're offering fixes their pain or their problem. They're key elements: awareness, belief, and then the final one is relationship. Do they trust you? Do they get on with you? Can they see how they could work with you? And so in some of our paid programs, we talk about how you've got to get your own personality across in this as well, and be yourself, because ultimately people may have to do business with you. So it's better you be yourself now, because when you get onto those calls, when you get into those conversations, they're getting you. They get you. That's why it's good to do some videos of yourself and put them out on LinkedIn so that people get a flavor of you, not just what you offer. So it makes it easier to have the conversation. So when people come on the calls, they know who you are. You might not know them that well, but they know who you are. So one client, map them out. If you've got Sales Navigator, great. If you've not, map them out on a piece of paper. Who are they? Where are they? What industries? What size of business? use the LinkedIn filters on Sales Navigator. And if you don't know what they are, or you've got questions about how to do this, you can literally email us and we'll answer your questions. You know, we really want you to get value from this, because some of you will go away and do this and have a field day and say, thank you very much, Maverrik. And when somebody says, have you heard of this company, Maverrik? You say, yeah, they're really nice people. And some of you will go away and go, actually, I really need their help, and come back. And that's cool with us. But if you've got questions, we want to help you. We'll show you how to do this. So, but map them out, really important. So you understand who I'm going after and you can focus. Yeah. Remember the problem that you are solving is usually they're in a position right now where there's problems. So most of you here will be trying to unseat a competitor. Yeah. Most of you will be trying to unseat a competitor. So, some videos, some people have got problems with the video. It's pausing on Facebook. Don't worry. You can come back and watch the replay. We'll put the replay links on the comments as well. Some of you are trying to unseat a competitor. So it's not that they're a brand new customer to the world of what you offer. They might be dealing with somebody else. They might be in contract with somebody else. So you need to do a little bit of work to find out what are the problems with how things are working for them right now, either as they don't have your product or service, or they have a similar product or service, a competitor's product or service, but what are the things that are going wrong? Yeah. So map out those things. And sometimes people try to treat the symptoms of a problem, not the problem itself. So I use the example of a cold, which is very topical, you know, a common cold. Sometimes people will have a runny nose, and what they're looking for is a tissue. What they really need is probably a course of paracetamol and all this other stuff, but they'll go for the tissue, which is the immediate fix. So sometimes people are looking for the immediate fix. Now, when you understand the problems they've got, and what we call the symptoms, in other words, the runny nose, which is actually part of a disease, they've got the cold. Yeah. So you can try and treat, sometimes people look for the symptoms. So sometimes you have to talk about the symptoms and the outcomes they want. And sometimes there's a root cause problem, an actual problem that people are thinking about. So you need to map all them out and think, what are the symptoms? And we have a worksheet on this. Kelly, you don't need to get them to admit they have a problem. I'll show you why in a minute. You need to talk about the problem. So you need to understand it. And then you need to look at what they'd want to achieve. And that might be a symptom goal or a symptom pain or problem. So you just need to know about this so that you can understand how to communicate with them, how to write content, how to put posts out there. You need to be connected with them, but you're not going to pitch them because you want them to see your content to build awareness and belief. And I'll show you how this works in a minute. It can work in as little as a few hours or a few days, or bigger ticket stuff, it's weeks, but it works. But you have to have this in your head. You know it, it's written down, ready to go. Next slide. So then you build your message where you talk to the pain. Now, there will be common pains that will happen. So post regularly and daily, and I'll show you some examples of this. Talk to the pain in the posts. Don't put posts about how wonderful your logo design service is. What's the reasons people would want a new logo? What's the reasons? What's the problems they're getting because of their current logo? Think about those things. Then you need to engage them as people. What are they doing on LinkedIn, and how can you build awareness, build a bit of relationship, on what they're doing? Are they posting? Are you liking or engaging with their posts? Are you commenting on their posts? You might think that's a total waste of time. And just an aside, I don't mean commenting saying, hey, buy my stuff on the comments. I mean, literally, deliberately taking the time to comment on their posts about what they're posting. Engage the people as people. that takes 5 or 10 minutes tops to do, and they get a notification that you've engaged. They've seen your face, they've got to know you a little bit more, and they'll probably check your profile. So talk to their pain, engage them as people. If you want to connect with somebody that's hard to connect with, go engage with them as a person first. Don't send them the whole sales pitch. If somebody connects with them, thank them for connecting. No sales pitch. Why? Because you're building a relationship. You're building awareness without them getting the reputation of you're a salesperson trying to sell me. And then in your messaging, you can use what I call metaphorical content. How can you tell the story of a pain without just saying it the same way over all the time? So are there themes? Are there examples? Are there anecdotal stories you can share? Freddie asked the question, some relationships finally asking for help with their problems, but not asking about product or service. How to shift that conversation forward that I have to offer. Freddie, I'll come to that in a second when we get there. But effectively what you're doing, what you have to do with LinkedIn is we're inherently selfish as human beings. We're interested in what helps us. Yeah. So you're here because you want to get help. I'm here because I'm trying to provide help to prove the value of knowing us a bit better. So what your job is to talk in pains and outcomes and show them as part of that conversation that you can help them get to the outcome. Your product or service is a tool for your client or your prospect. It's a tool. It's the gap that helps them get from A to B. And so you talk about the pain, you talk about the outcome, and then you can introduce to them and say, look, I know you want to get there, and I think I found a way. I have a way that you can get there. I have a way that you can leave this problem behind and get there. And do you want me to show you how to do it? It's very, very simple. It can be that straightforward. And I've done this in real time with some of our Accelerator program students, and literally in real time got a conversation with anybody. And in 2 weeks' time on our Accelerator program, in our live sessions, I'm actually going to get them appointments in real time on their LinkedIn account in the session to prove how easy this is when you do the relationship work. So your job is to use where they are, where they want to be, and that's what you talk about. And then you show them how they can get from where they are to where they want to be, and would they like to know how they can do it. And then you show them your product or service and how it gets them there. Remember, people buy things to get out of pain and into pleasure, bluntly, out of pain and into somewhere else. That's why people buy things. It's not because it's a wonderful gadget. Occasionally it's a wonderful gadget, but if you want people to move and make a decision, they have to be convinced that you understand their situation, because every customer believes they're unique and their problem is unique. And I know that some of you watching this will know that your customers' pains and problems are very common or similar. Not exactly, but they're common. They're very similar problems, and you hear the same kind of things a lot. But the customer will think it's unique. So when you're talking about their pain and the outcome they want, whether it be in posts, whether it be in messages, I'll show you the format on the 1.5 million whale in a second. It gets their attention, it holds their attention. And so then they give you the time of day to know how you're going to solve their problem, how you can solve their problem. And so I've done this on posts, I've done this on messages, I've done it everywhere you can think on LinkedIn. It actually works everywhere, not just LinkedIn. And so the one message is really important: be you, people buy from people. And then the offer is just about creating something that you can offer to people and make it very clear that this is how you can do it. You can build on that relationship once you're in conversation, once you've had a call, if that's what you want to do and that's how you want to roll it out. But you have to have something very clear that people can latch onto and say, I want to know more. So that's the one strategy. If I've gone through this really quick and you go, I'd love a copy of the slides, just email us and we will email you a copy of the slides as a PDF. I'll put the email address up on the slides there. So there's our email address if you want to copy the slides. There you go. hi@maverrik.co.uk. But let's go to the next bit now. So here we're getting into the tactics now. Are you ready? Everybody here? Everybody's still alive? Everybody's still awake? We're going tactical now. That's the strategy. Now we're going tactical. So let me know if you're still here in the chat, because something's gone a bit weird on here. But if you can let me know you're still watching, that'd be great. So I don't look like I'm talking to nobody. That'd be wonderful. So the 4 cogs are something we've put together to really explain how you can make LinkedIn work in terms of relationships with prospects. Well, Noel's here. Yeah, Noel's here. So, Noel, glad you're here. So, 4 cogs. Let me just talk to you about how this works. So, this is the 4 cogs, and they all work in relationship with each other. So, first things first, this is how most people work. So, content and engaging with your prospects or getting engagement on your content. Doing just those 2 is expensive marketing. Yeah, it's really expensive marketing. It's probably the best way of doing things, but it's so expensive and it takes a long time to work. Then, so content and engage. Then you've got connect and converse, which is what all those messages, hey, I'm connecting with you and here's my stuff, buy me, buy me, buy me, buy me. No awareness, no belief, no nothing, low results. Then you've got the cheap marketing, which is connect and content, but doesn't really get very much. And then you've got engage and converse going down, which is the people who chat a lot, converse a lot, but don't convert anything. And so what people tend to do is they use 2 of these together, the content, the engagement, the connection or the conversion or the conversations, and they mix them up in lots of different ways. This is exactly how you should use it. Content, engagement, connection, and conversion or conversations. Yeah, you use them in sequence. So put content out. This is a real simple one. Put content out. Go and engage with the people you want to build relation, the one you want to sell to, the people who you want to have a conversation with. Connect with them, but don't stop engaging. What do I mean by engaging? Well, I mean liking and commenting on their posts. Whilst we're here, I'll tell you about something that's very straightforward. Some people don't like it, but it works. I'm all for what works, and LinkedIn knows about it and seem to let it alone. LinkedIn loves the fact that people publish content. There's a little rule on LinkedIn that if you get a certain number of likes and comments on your post in the first couple of hours and you interact with those likes and comments, LinkedIn's algorithm pushes you out further along the platform, so more people see your content. So if you're a person who's getting 1 like, 2 like, no comments, hardly anything, or if you're only getting a handful of stuff, we have a free, totally free way that you can engage with people, a community of people who work with you, support your posts so that you get more of your connections to see your posts. So more of your first connections start to see your stuff. If you want to know how, again, it's totally free. So if you want to get more visibility on your content, you can email us and we will happily get you into that support group that will help you with your posts. And they will help you get, thousands of views on every post you put out there. Thousands. So if you want to know that, just come find us. Somebody's asking here, SalesNav. Michael's asking about SalesNav. SalesNav is the best piece of software package for LinkedIn. Premium's no good, really, to be honest with you. It's better than free, but that's about it. So free is limited because LinkedIn want you to pay. SalesNav allows you to find not only exactly the right people, but the ones that are the most active. So you don't waste a lot of time growing connections with accounts that are dormant, inactive, or not quite as relevant. It's a really targeted way to find the right people. So I would advocate Sales Navigator. There's a free trial, a 30-day free trial if you haven't used it before. What I would encourage you to do is before you get that free trial, really get familiar with your plan so you can implement it and really rinse your free trial. So you're in, you've seen the results of this strategy and you've seen the results of using Sales Navigator before you have to pay any money. that I would absolutely advocate you doing that. So this is how it works. Content, engage continually with your prospects, but also get the engagement on your own content, so that more and more people see what you're doing. You get high visibility of your content. So when you're putting out the post talking about the pain points and the outcomes you're helping, and what we call taste, which is the way you write content to get people hooked on what you're doing, taste. When you do that, more and more people see it. You get inbound inquiries, you get inbound interest, as well as a lot of visibility. And then you connect with them, keep engaging, ready for the conversation. Yeah. So let's just look at some optimization, and then we'll go into the 1.5 million whale sale, and I'll show you how that works. These are really important things. Every time you do something that creates curiosity in your prospects, they look at your profile every time. So make sure your profile focuses in on the key things that you're selling. The key things, the pain points, the outcomes. Don't make it look like a CV. Don't make it look, oh, these are the bells and whistles we sell. Talk to the pain and the outcomes of the customers, even down to your headline. By the way, your headline is on your posts, it's on your messages, it's on your connection requests. Talk to the pains in your headline. So even if it's, I help people do X, Y, and Z, that's good. That works. It's not the nicest one. You can do bullet points, helping business owners do this, helping get rid of X, but talk to the pain. Pain is what gets people to take action. Think about all of the things that you've put off in your life doing. Yeah, I'm not going to depress you here, but think about it. We only sometimes do things when it really hurts, or when we have to. So if you put your profile and optimize your profile to the people who are in pain and want an outcome, what's going to happen? The people who are in pain and want an outcome are going to find relevance and resonance with your profile. Every time you send a connection request, every time you send a message, every time you post and it piques somebody's curiosity, they look at your profile. So number one, make sure your headline tells people who you do, what you do it for, what you fix, what's the pain you fix, and who you fix it for. The about, nobody reads it really, to be honest with you, but make sure the first couple of lines do talk to your customers. Mark knows the answer to this, but I think he's asked it to because I went through it pretty quick, but I'll show you some content in a minute. Featured section. The featured section, if you haven't got it, you go to add profile section and featured. You can pin a link, a PDF, a document, a YouTube video, anything you want to the top. I would advocate only using one, primarily because focus, but also on mobile, it skews up the previews. So personal profile is the way to make sales. The company page is a waste of time. It's only value, the company page, and I don't have time to go into it here, but the only value you have as a company page is a validator that you are a legitimate business. You've got an address, you've got, you know, that's the basics of it. You don't need to worry about it too much. Put some blogs on it, put some updates on it, but it's not going to change the world. I can tell you how to grow the company page, but I haven't got time here. So pin something, again, one offer. It's all focused. Your profile is all about one thing. So people come, they see it, they get it, they're in. So content. I've got some things to share on the content to optimize your content. Number one, people love PDFs. Yeah, images, PDFs, videos, share things, be yourself. But there are three things that really matter. You've got to get people to stop in the feed. Lanice, you pin it here on the featured section. So it shows up on your profile. Go have a look at my profile. If you want to connect with me, send me a connection request and I'll add you. So don't worry about that. But you can see it pinned on my profile here, which is my Accelerator program. So you can see it pinned there. So content-wise, there's three things that are important. Well, there's three things to make a post work. And then there's 3 things that you need to understand on the content itself. So first one is stopping power. How does your post get people to stop when they see it in the feed? So as you can see, if you look at some of my posts, I don't need to show you here because you can go on my posts and see some of them. I'm deliberately creating a square image. This is a PDF, this one, that gets people to stop. And there's a bit of curiosity or there's something really strong, either pain or outcome. And I'm giving people some value. Now, if you follow, we're connected on LinkedIn, you'll see you can copy and paste some of the examples of how I do it. But stopping power is important, getting people to stop in the feed. Number 2, staying power. How can you get people to stay with your post for more, at least 3 seconds plus? 3 seconds plus. So number 1, don't give everything away in these first few lines here. Tease here. Don't tell people anything other than pain and outcome. Tease. So that in order to get the value from the post or what you're talking about, they have to spend longer on. So on a PDF, they have to slide through the slides or they have to see more, which gets them to stay more. So stopping power, how they see it in the feed, staying power. Just one thing on stopping power and staying power. Don't use stock imagery. Don't use bland imagery because people are getting used to spotting stock and corporate marketing content. And so they browse past it because it all looks the same or it looks like stock. So they're not interested. And then the final thing that makes a post work, and then we'll come to hashtags, is the likes and the engagement. I know it's shallow. I know likes don't matter, but they do for the algorithm. So do you ask questions to get people to comment? Do you give people something of value that makes them want to like? You need to get likes and comments to get distribution. Yeah, we're all publishers now. You are a media business. As a salesperson, a marketer, business owner, you are a media publisher. To get published content, to get people to know who you are, believe in you, and see the value of working with you and build that relationship. So you need distribution. As I said earlier, if you want to get more distribution, we have a free support group. You need to email us for more details, and we will help you get into that group where every time you post, people will come and support your post to help you get the distribution. That's all it's there to do, help you get distribution. We call it a pod. Some people don't like them, and that's cool if you don't. But what we do know is if you get likes and comments in the first 2 hours, you get a lot more distribution. And so more people see what you're doing, more people find out about you, more awareness. You help consolidate belief in what you do. Easy peasy. So stopping power, staying power, engagement. Then we come to hashtags, and I'm going to share with you hashtags briefly, and then I've got to move on because I've got to get to the £1.5 million post. So here we go. Hashtags. Do not use hashtags that relate to your content or your industry. Use hashtags that your customers are most likely to be following. So go and search some of them out. We can share with you again, if you drop us a line, we've got a hashtag list that you can look at. It's by no means exhaustive, but it's some of the most popular ones. And what you're going to do is use the hashtags your customers are likely to follow on your post. You only need 3, not thousands. 3, just 3. And you put them on and literally then your post is starting to be indexed within the hashtags your customers are following. So for an example, really simple example, I'm not going to promote my content to LinkedIn trainers. So I would not use hashtag LinkedIn training. Why would I want my competitors to see my training, to see my posts? If I want business owners to see my posts, I'd use hashtag business. Or if I want finance people to see my posts, I'd use hashtag finance. Or if I want people in the tech sector to see it, I'd put hashtag technology. I wouldn't be putting LinkedIn training on my post, hashtag LinkedIn training. Yet so many people do that. So use the hashtags your customers are likely to follow. not the hashtags that are the topic of the post or the topic of your industry. Otherwise, you're just promoting your post to the competition. Everybody understand that? Everybody get that? So some connection tips. And then we'll go to the 1.5 million post. Withdraw people who don't accept within 7 days. A lot of people get restricted on LinkedIn because they get too aggressive with their connection requests. And so they send a load of them and then they don't withdraw them and they build up and up and up and up. And then LinkedIn sees that they get loads of people, rejecting them, and they ban them or restrict them. If you can see on my screen here, you can see this is some of my incoming connection requests. I got 415 pending. Yeah, 415. Look at what I see. Now I've blocked out the names because obviously I don't want to show everybody's names here. But look what they see. They see your profile picture, your name, and your headline. Some of your profile pictures probably look scary or boring or weird. Or some of you have not got a profile at all. Make sure your profile picture makes you look friendly, because people buy from people. You need to look like a reasonable person to get along with. Make sure it's really clear they can see your face and you look happy. Next one, if you want to put a message in there in your connection requests, don't put sales waffle. Don't try and pre-qualify people. Just say, I'm growing my network with marketing managers or business owners in Gloucester. Are you open to connect? And sometimes you might want to put, I don't do pitches, and that's fine because you're not going to do any pitches. Alan, images or PDFs? We have found PDFs work really well. Text posts work good too, but alternate. Don't become a one-trick pony on the type of post you do. Text obviously doesn't take as much space up in the feed. So if you do text posts, they're short and sweet, so they get lost in the busyness. So I prefer square images, square PDFs. They take up a lot more space and they have a lot more stopping power and staying power. So withdraw. Don't go nuts on connection requests. It can get you in a lot of trouble. Do it slowly and warm up people. And remember, if you're trying to connect with people who are difficult to connect to, senior decision makers, engage first. Remember the 4 cogs. We actually have a 7-step process we use where we lay out the cogs in an order that you can follow, almost like do this, now do this, now do this, now do this, now do this. 7 steps to a conversation. That's how it works. 7 steps to a conversation. And you use engagement to get you there, interacting with them on posts and content and things that are going on. Don't cold pitch. Do not cold pitch. Just as an aside, before I move on, some of you may be using automation to send pitches. Now, LinkedIn's got wise to this, and what they've done is they've made it so that if you send the same message too many times, they actually blur out the message and say this may contain harmful content. So you think, well, hey, my automation's firing out sales pitches to people, and it's only a matter of time before one of them bites. But what they're receiving, and have a look at one of my posts from earlier this week, I show you an example of how it looks. What they're actually receiving is a blurred out message warning them that your message is harmful. So you think you're selling, but actually you're just selling. They're just getting warnings not to read your stuff. So you don't want to do that. So which one do you think works? Tell people what you do and try and start a conversation, or start a conversation and move it to talking about what you do. I'll tell you now, really simple. Starting a conversation and moving it to talk about what you do actually hands down wins. My success rate, now I will accept I've been doing this for a long time, so I know what I'm doing. I've learned all the knacks of how to do this. I've learned all the pitfalls. So I will say, obviously I'm saying something to you here that I've got years of experience doing, but my success rate in starting a conversation with somebody, assuming they're an active account, obviously, is about 80%. 80% I can get into a conversation, and maybe at least half of them I can get on a call. So why do I need to use a robot getting me thousands of connections every month? I don't need them. Celeste asks, is it okay to clean up your network? Yes, but don't do it too aggressively, because every time you reduce your network, you shrink your audience. And so your content visibility and all that kind of changes. But yes, you can do a purge, as I call it. And making business social, yeah, it does work. It does work. Yeah, everybody's nervous about doing this with their profile, but actually it really does work. It really does work. So this is the killer bit now, not a killer whale. But how do you get a 1.5 million? Now, I'm not saying to you, go and do this and you can have one in 10 days. That's not how this works. But what I'm trying to say is the principles I'm going to show you in this post, you can cannibalize for any sale. But this one particularly worked, and I'll show you what was going on to make this happen. So they were doing all of the 4 cogs, engaging with people's content, but they were not sales pitching. They weren't sales pitching. So there was no sales pitch in the process, just posting daily, paying an outcome and all of those things. There's another type of content we call engagement content, which I don't have time to cover now. That's what they were doing. And the prospect bit, because they'd seen the post that the person had put up, and then the thank you message that came after the connection, they replied to it. Within 3 weeks, because they'd used pain and outcome and engagement, they built up some relationship and awareness and a bit of belief before they connected. Then they did the thank you without the pitch. The person was checking the person's profile all the time. The prospect was checking the profile because of all this engagement that was going on. In 3 weeks of connecting, they'd had a conversation. £101,000 had been invoiced, and the repeat business contract is worth £1.5 million per annum. And we worked with this client through our Accelerator program in financial services, this one. And it was literally that straightforward. It was interacting and engaging, connecting, keeping interacting, making sure you're getting the right content out there so they're seeing it, they're seeing what you're doing, so that message is getting in there, they're soaking up the message slowly, and then the thank you message for connecting, which is just the prompt. It's not the pitch. The pitch in our process, or the conversation starter, is actually at step 7 of the 7-step process. And that's where you start to take it up another level. But by that point, you've really cemented a relationship. It's a very simple process, and you need the 4 cogs to do it. Now, I have finished a bit early just so that we can get some questions in. So if you've got questions now, please fire them into the chat and I will answer it. I will review your profile. If you want me to look at your profile, just let me say, number 1, if I look at your profile, please be aware that this is a public session. So I will show your profile on screen and I will give you my honest feedback. I won't be rude or brutal or anything like that, but I will give you honest feedback. That's number 1. Number 2, please also, if you want me to look at your profile or any of your content and give you some feedback, please put your full name as it appears on LinkedIn and the company name, so that if I find 2 or more people, I can find you quickly. The other thing I'm going to say, whilst I'm waiting for your questions, obviously I've given you a lot of insight tonight and your head might be pounding, but if you want to take this further and you want the full-blown intensive and some coaching, we've got a program you can join. Please put your questions in and I'll do them in a second. I'm not going to spend too much time here. But if you want the results and you want some help and you want a bit more detail on meat on the bones of how to do this practically, we do have a program you can join. It's on offer. It's 395 quid, including VAT. It's all the training and a one-to-one coaching call. I'm going to do the questions now. Just they're starting to appear in here. So if you want that, we'll put the link in the chat, but also come find us, come message us on email us, and we'll talk to you about it. If you want to jump on a call to discuss it, you're more than welcome to. I'll just start the questions now. So if you want that, that's fine. So let me just start to look at the questions so I can have a look. So first question, here we go. So let's have a look at question number one. What are your thoughts about LinkedIn groups? Is there any value? LinkedIn groups are rubbish. There are some that are half decent, but if they're not active, they're no good to you. The only good value from a LinkedIn group is actually to go in there and you can find out who's active in that group. So if there's a group about a specific problem or challenge or industry, you can find people who are potentially more active more easily. That's the main value of LinkedIn groups. LinkedIn are trying to make their groups a bit more like Facebook's, but I think that's a way off because they're focusing on other features, but it's coming. So hopefully that answers your question. What about when you're not sure whether someone needs your service? How can you talk about the pain? Well, you have to look at, Janelle, what's the status quo? What are they unhappy with the status quo? What could be going wrong? And if you're connecting, yeah, you're just literally, you'll find the people will come to the surface if you start talking about the pain. The best thing to do, Janelle, is have a look at my posts, because I don't want to sap up tons of time because there's a few more questions. Have a look at some of my posts. You'll see how I do it. In a session we did, I think last week, I shared with people that if you ask, the one very simple way of doing it is to ask a pain point question and then ask an outcome question as the top lines of your post. It works really, really well. Hopefully that answers that question. Which gets more attention, posts or articles? Posts. Posts. You'll sell more off posts more often, but articles can be used as a tool, like as a portfolio, or you can turn an article into a sales letter, you know, the traditional sales letter, and you can use articles like that. They're far more surgical tools for selling articles. Thought leadership piece articles are brilliant, but you can actually get a lot more visibility from posts. So Terry's asked me to review her profile, so I'm going to do that now. And then if anybody else wants to have their profile reviewed, that you're more than welcome. So it's Terry. If I could spell. So here's Terry. So Terry, you've got a nice header. You've got a headline. But what I'd be thinking about, are there any particular groups of people who can benefit from your service? Maybe they've got printing at the moment, printing providers at the moment. What's the problem? Do they need it quicker? Do they need to get more powerful marketing communications? Do they need to make a print that makes an impact? What's the things that they're doing? Oh, there you go. I help marketing and print buyers with their daily and yearly goals. Can you land that message a bit more specific, Terry? So that would be good if you could do that. Terry's commented on a few of our things, so that's showing up in our activity. Terry, I'd be growing your connections. Terry, this post, I'm going to pick on this post because this is a really good one. Terry, if you want to use our support groups, you can do. I know you're in our Facebook support group, but if you want to be in the LinkedIn one, you can do that too. So what you could do is your print turning people off? Is your print boring? Here's how to add some charm and class to your marketing communications. Yeah, and you can do that. I'd also maybe tease this a little bit more. You give a lot away with the image. So maybe you could provoke people a little bit more before you show them what it is. Multi-images work well as well. So you could do before and afters or a collage for 5 or 6 images. Obviously, the print speaks for itself, but you want to kind of tease people to stay a bit longer. And then hashtags. Terry, I'd focus on some of the larger hashtags. So my company, for an example, only has 3,000 followers. It's small. You want to be looking for, if you're looking at marketing, you could go for hashtag marketing, which is the big hashtag, and work through that one. And CEO, I'm not sure how many people follow that one. 63,000. So you want bigger hashtags, really, Terry, for that. So hopefully that helps there. Let me just flick to some other questions. So Bogdan, I'll come to you in a minute. I'll just see if there's any more questions here before. So Lenny has said, I worked in healthcare. So this is a common question people ask. I'm working in a particular industry and I've changed industry. I think it is. Yeah. So you're transitioning from one role to the other. So you might have a load of connections that aren't relevant. Don't purge, add, and change as you go, because you don't want your network to contract too quickly, because it'll mess up your algorithm and visibility if you do that. So do it slowly. Add before you remove. Let's have a look if there's any more questions before I do profile reviews. So if people are waiting for things. Yes. So RM, good point. Good question here. Maybe I'll flick to full screen so you can see me for a bit. RM asked a good point. Can articles be converted? So here's a real good content hack. Write a blog. Yeah, maybe you've got 4 or 5 points in a blog or an article, and then actually break that down into posts and talk about the particular points as individual posts. And then maybe you could do a video about the same thing. And so you use the same piece of content, but break it up into different formats. So the blog might become a PDF swipe file, like some of mine you'll see. And then it might become singular posts, 1 point in each post. And then it might be that you do a video about it. Now, people will say, won't that mean people are seeing the same stuff over and over and over again? Well, they will, but you space them out a bit over, say, not every day. Don't regurgitate the same thing every day, but mix it up. Share some personal stuff in there, things about what you're doing in your day, because it's just as much important that people buy into you as they buy into what you're offering. So do mix them up. But remember, somewhere between 7 and 15 times for people to even remember who you are. So you might think I've liked and commented on somebody's post and they've liked on one. They might not remember you in a few days' time. So it's really important that you do that. Let's have a look. Oh, there's a lot of people asking for profile reviews here. So let me try and pick a few there, because there's literally like 60 people here. I tell you what I'll do. I'm going to put something on the screen here. I'm going to put our email address, because there's a ton of people asking for profile reviews and I'll be here for hours. If you want us to do a profile review, absolutely free. There's no cost at all to this. I've just dropped a bomb on our team because they're going to have all of these. Email us hi@maverrik.co.uk. Give us your LinkedIn URL, linkedin.com/in/ and say, I was on this training with Dean and he said, we'll do a profile review. Will you give me a profile review? And what we'll do, because there's like, 60 here, coming from all the different social channels, and we got 100 people, 125 people on the live still. Send us an email with your LinkedIn URL and ask for a profile review, and we will send you a personalized profile review. No charge, no nothing, because I've said I'd do it, and there's like way too many for me to do right now. So that's what you do when you just go live and say you will do something. So send us an email. We'll absolutely do it. If you want the slides, we'll do that too. And I'll just dive onto all the other questions that are here, because I just don't want to waste everybody's time going through everybody's profile. Franchising industry. Somebody's asked about franchising. Yes, you can do this. I worked with a large franchising business just before Christmas, and showed them how to do this. So it really depends on who you're trying to target. So are you trying to get franchisees, or how are you trying to get customers for the franchises? So I think about who it is you want to target. If it's trying to get franchisees, in other words, selling franchises, then focus that profile. If it's trying to get customers for a franchise, it's obviously different. So you need to define the two. And if you're doing both, then slightly different strategy, but it's the same kind of thing. Very similar. Anybody else got questions here? Can articles be to highlight the potential concerns and challenges? Absolutely. You can use articles as a sales tool. You can use, for an example, in our content workshop, we talked about using articles to really sell by talking about the pain points and making articles about pain points. And then basically you can track and see who's looking. Anybody else? PowerPoint slides as posts. Yes, I do that all the time. Most of my posts, if I flick over to my profile here, I'll show you some examples because they work really well. Let me just turn this message off here so that you can see it properly. So if you go onto my profile, you can come have a look at these. If you want to connect with me, it's absolutely fine. I'll go through and add you to my connections. But you can see here are my documents. So I do these on a regular basis. They do really, really well for me in terms of getting conversations and leads and things like that. And you can see that they're all about pain points and outcomes and goals that people want to achieve on LinkedIn. And you can see the results. And these are, I do them as PDFs, but you can do a PowerPoint file and save it as a PDF, or you can just upload the PowerPoint file. And you can see there's a lot of tips that I put out here to show value, build belief, build awareness, so that it makes it easier for me to strike up conversations, because I'm trying to front load a lot of the work that I have to do to prove to a prospect that I can make a difference to their business. I'm trying to demonstrate, build belief that I can solve their problem in getting clients or building their thought leadership on LinkedIn. So I'm doing it by front loading it. Yes, some people will take value and go away and never buy from me, but actually I'm not going to worry about the people who don't buy and stop doing things because some people will use it and never buy anything from me. I'll do it because some people will, and that's what I'm looking for. So these are really good ways to do it. So I make PDFs, but you can make them in PowerPoint really easily. Anybody else have any questions? If you've got any questions whatsoever, feel free to email us. I'd love to say this. I'd love you to join our elite program. You don't have to, that's up to you. If you want to join it, obviously you can get a coaching session so you can help implement it and the full 7 steps. And again, just email us, hi@maverrik.co.uk if you want to know more. You can go to our shop and just buy it if you want. Go to maverrik.io, go to the shop, find the elite program, just go buy it. But if you don't, Michael, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. But if you've got value from this, want to take it further, great. But if you think, I'm going to have a go at this, I'm going to have a crack, actually do something with this. Actually do something with it. It would really, really work. The price, I think it's $495 normally, but I think till the end of the month it's $395 just because it's January, all that kind of sales shit that we have to do. So it's $395 till the end of January. Michael asked an important point. No, not Michael. It was somebody else actually asked him. Should you use a person to create 2 LinkedIn profiles, not pages, profiles? No, do not create 2 LinkedIn profiles. The reason is if you create 2 LinkedIn profiles, what will happen is LinkedIn will catch on and force you to shut one down. So do not do that. Only have one. If you're struggling at how do I mix 2 different hats or 2 different angles with LinkedIn, we can explain that to you. It's a bigger conversation than now, but there is a way to do it. Somebody else asked another one, Creative Commons and copyright. Pexels.com is great for royalty-free images. Pexels.com, Pexels.com. But LinkedIn doesn't have any content or copyright controls at the moment, but there are some rules about how you use other people's copy. So if it's in the public domain, if they're sharing something in the public domain, you can share it on LinkedIn particularly, but you cannot modify it for a commercial purpose. So let's say you find a clip from a film and you want to use it to explain your point about a particular problem or challenge. You can't just dump your logos on it and brand it up. That's a breach of the copyright. But you can use other people's content for comedy, parody, pastiche, commentary, all that kind of stuff, and you can do that. But don't just try and brand up, a clip from a movie or something. That's proper copyright breach. And be very careful of, any images that are for sale that you just find in Google Images, because some of the platforms that now sell these images will actually just send you an invoice if you've used a paid image. But if you go to pexels.com, there's loads of images you can use there royalty free. It is good to put credits on there if you can. Maybe in the comments you can tag and credit the person who provided the image, and they tell you all that on pexels.com, but it's really easy. It's free. Oh, I need a breather now. Any other questions before we wrap up tonight? So just a quick reminder, if you want the slides, you want the profile review, you want the content boost support group, you can just email us and we'll help you get there. Paolo's asking about the option to add calls, Teams, Zoom, all that kind of stuff. That, to me, isn't that important. And I'll tell you why that isn't that important. If you're into a conversation, you'll probably want to email them the link anyway, so it gets to their calendar. So that feature isn't that important. Yes, you can do some clever things by suggesting times with calendar links and stuff like that. But actually, you can do that in conversation, and it's much better to do it in conversation because you're trying to build that path, that two-way communication. So, yes, you can. It's a nice little hack. But honestly, if you get to the two-way conversation, step 7, two-way conversation, it actually works. You don't need that. You can send them a Google link. You can get their email address and send them a calendar invite. It's dead simple. So yeah, slides from today, profile review. You want the support for your content, free support. All of this is free, by the way. We're not selling you anything, so you don't have to pay anything for this. Just email hi@maverrik.co.uk and we'll do it all for you. No problem at all. Oh, and the teams just nudged me. Please, would you go like and subscribe to our social channels, particularly our company page on LinkedIn. If you've got value from this, give us a great Google review. That'd be wonderful. But I'm going to wrap up now. There's 103 people still here. Richard, live long and prosper. That's a joke about me on LinkedIn. I admitted I was a Star Trek fan on LinkedIn. I actually got 43,000 views because I used Star Trek, a Star Trek GIF on LinkedIn to tell a story about how to do things when you've got no money and no budget. Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm going to wrap up now, but I'd love to find you on Facebook. If you want to join our Facebook group where we do lots of other stuff and show you other things, I can't give you the link here because of all the different chats. But if you go find the group, you can join the group. I post in there every day. I'm in there. If you have any questions, you can post them in there and I'll come and answer them. And you can meet other people on the LinkedIn journey and social selling journey as well. So I'm going to wrap up now and say thank you so much for watching. If you want to know more about us, you know what to do. Thanks for watching. Go do it. Don't be one of these people who just learn stuff. Go implement it, try it. And if you get stuck, come find us. We'll help you out.